Hey, and welcome back. This is Kill the Cat Radio, Sharp Teeth, number 32. 32 episodes in the bank. Well, after this one, of course. I hope all of you are doing fantastic out there. Happy New Year, y'all. It's been a great New Year so far. I think we're only a couple days into it, but I'm glad you guys are tuning in. Thank you to the 81 of you that have subscribed to this channel, and I'm calling it More Bar Stories. Now, that's not the most creative title in the world, I know, but as some of you already heard, I was a bartender for 20 years. That's a long time to be in the bar world. Too long, if you ask me. I'm surprised I'm even alive right now. There's been some really crazy things that have happened over the years in these bars, especially if you work the bars I worked at. Most of them were like dive bars, but we'll get to that in a second. Please subscribe below, hit the like button. You can see not much has changed around here. The guitar is still here. The hat, the wall is still here. The book of the week is A Movable Feast by Ernest Hemingway. Why did I choose A Movable Feast? Have you guys ever read A Movable Feast? It's pretty interesting. It's like a collection of sort of memoir short stories, kind of narrative nonfiction, as you college kids know about in the university system. Basically, the story goes like this. Hemingway was getting older, and of course, he was kind of getting a little bit more crazy. He went through a couple plane accidents. He was drinking too much. Things were getting a little sour, and eventually, yes, he killed himself, unfortunately. Sort of one of the occupational hazards of being a writer is suicide. Self-deletion. Sorry, algorithms. Anyway, when he got a little bit older, he apparently went back to the Hotel Ritz that he was there during World War II, and he found a treasure chest, if you will, of all these stories he had stashed in there, and I guess some of the owners of the Ritz kept them. It really inspired him before he was dead to kind of rewrite some of these memories and ideas about certain things that have happened in his life. Unfortunately, he was not able to finish the book. His wife, fourth wife, by the way, all right, he liked the ladies, despite what everybody says about his lack of prowess in the fields of love. Anyhow, he was inspired by these aspects of his past life, these little sort of slivers of his past, and he compiles them in this book, and it's super amazing. And his wife put it all together after he was dead, and it just ends up being one of his last things that were put out. It still kind of had his touch to it. I don't know about some of the other ones, the other stories that came out later, but either way, if you haven't read it, it's a great starting point or ending point if you want to really get into Ernest Hemingway, the greatest writer of the 20th century in America, other than yours truly. Just kidding. I really don't have anything as far as a script, so I'm going rogue again for episode 32. That's cool. I'm used to telling bar stories anyways. So, what are these bar stories? Well, you see a lot behind a bar. You see the good and the bad about humanity. And the first point that I'd like to bring up, part one of this episode, is titled How a Mafia Enforcer Taught Me How to Write Stories. Okay, that's kind of a crazy title, right? It's a little bit weird. But here's how the story goes. Guy walks into a bar. It always starts that way, right? Guy walks into a bar. I walk into a bar. I sit down and I'm depressed. Okay, I don't know what's going on in my life, but I'm not feeling very good. I think something happened with some relationship was going south. I didn't have any money, you know, just the usual writer problems, right? I sit down at the corner of the bar, my favorite little spot, and I break out some of the short stories and I start editing, you know, there at the bar. I did this for 2 decades long, sitting there writing at bars. I no longer do that anymore. I write from home. I edit from home. Maybe a coffee shop, max. This dude's sitting next to me right here. And he's like, you know, kind of a big guy. I've seen him around the neighborhood. This is Brooklyn, New York. And the guy's sitting there. He's just drinking his drink casually, not even looking at his phone. So you definitely know that he's from a different generation. And I'm writing short stories at a bar. Obviously, I'm from a different generation. So both of us are not online at all. We're both just sitting there having a normal moment at a bar, like how you're supposed to live. Not like everybody just sitting there on their phones like, I mean, who wants to do that? Just stay home, god damn it. I'm writing, I'm doing my thing, but I'm very frustrated. I'm drinking because I'm very frustrated. I'm basically just not in a good mood. I'm not in a good place. I think this dude picked up on it, and he looks over and he says, "Hey, what are you writing?" And I say, "Short stories, writing stories, you know?" And I say, "Man, fuck writing." You know, I think I was at a turning point. I'm like, man, why write? I mean, what's the point? You know what I mean? I'm sure you guys out there who are up and coming writers felt this, and people who actually have careers probably felt this. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? We're telling stories. No one cares. No one reads. And I kind of bitch about that. I say, no one reads. Nobody reads, right? I don't know this guy from Shinola. I have no idea who this person is beforehand. He casually looks at me, and, you know, he seems like a nice guy. But I was drinking whiskey, which I never do anymore because whiskey is the devil, and says to me very, very nicely, well, yeah, maybe no one reads, but maybe you got to think outside the box. Talk like that. How you doing? You know, what's going on here? It's like being in Goodfellas or something. Well, friends of the channel, I reacted very poorly. I can't blame whiskey. I will blame my frustration. I will blame whatever relationship was going south. I will blame just lack of money. But there's a big difference between a reason and an excuse. So all those are excuses. I was just frustrated and I was depressed and I unleashed my drunken whiskey wrath upon this man. And I said, hey, man, I don't need any goddamn advice from you. All right. How many short stories have you wrote in your life? What do you know about writing? I mean, that's pretty mean. That's like some vitriol. You know, that's like some real bad energy going on. The guy didn't even change a tune. He was like smooth completely. He just says, hey, just trying to give you a little advice. You know what I mean? Think outside the box. I'm like, I'm all flustered. Think outside of goddamn, like I just gather my things like a little bitch and I leave, right? Okay, so fast forward maybe 3-4 days later, I'm back at the same bar, same spot, and the bartender comes over to me and he says, hey, Maddie, do you remember that guy that you talked to over here that you went off on about writing? I'm like, and then it all floods back in, like obviously like, oh fuck, what did I do? I shouldn't have been mean to this person. I said, man, oh man, yeah, I don't know. I was just in a bad way that night and the whiskey was flowing and everything was going. He says, yeah, you might want to think about that because that dude that you went off on just here at this bar, this dive bar, that dude like works for very powerful people who enforce things, who are very strong-willed. Basically, euphemism for it. This guy will fuck you up, and he works for underworld societies, is what I'm trying to say. I look at him, I was like, are you kidding me? And he's like, no, dude, you need to like, I don't know, man. Like, if you want to hang out around here anymore, because I mean, he's a cool guy, but I mean, I saw how you talk to him, and you're not supposed to talk to guys like that. Like that. And I'm from Providence, so I know I'm definitely not supposed to talk to people like that. Like that. Anyhow, but mainly I wasn't afraid. I didn't think this guy was gonna like kill me or do anything bad to me. I didn't think it was gonna be like this. However, I did feel bad because I don't like being that way with people. And I just don't like it when people tell me what's going on when I certainly know my business. I'm not going to tell him his business. This is my justification. And second, I just don't want to be mean to anybody. It sucks. And, that's, I felt bad. Okay. Also, maybe there was a little bit of fear, I guess, of all the people I had to say, what the fuck do you know about writing? I have to say it to some fucking mafia enforcer or something like this. This guy, whatever, he's the guy who throws you out the Pulaski Bridge, if you know what I mean, after you've already been deceased, if you know what I'm saying here. Omerta. Okay, I don't know anything. Anywho, I go back to the bar the next time, the third time, okay? And there he is, drinking alone at the end of the bar. Ooh, okay, I muster up the strength. I'm like, all right, first, I got to admit I was wrong. And second, I just want to like kind of just talk to him, just want to smooth everything out, make sure everything's cool. So I do what any gentleman would do. I go right up to the guy and I say, sir, how are you doing today? And he looks at me, he's just like, sup, like he was already just nonplussed. I say, can I buy you a drink, sir? And he's like, yeah, all right. And same bartender's there. And he looks at me, he's like, come on, Maddie, like, let's get this together. I get him the drink. Now he's got a drink. I got a drink. We're drinking. I cheers. And the first thing, I just do it just like anybody else should have. I just was like, hey, man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go off. I was having a problem with a woman. I was over drinking. It was Irish whiskey. Again, reason versus excuse. But mainly, I was a bastard. I'm sorry. I was a bastard and I was frustrated with my life. And when you told me think outside the box, I just lost my shit and I didn't mean to do that. I felt really, 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 really bad. So would you forgive me? He's like, yeah, don't worry about it, man. I can chill out. What's your problem? I said, all right, can I sit down? Can we just hang out like regular people? And he's like, yeah, sure, whatever. We're hanging out now. So things are cool. I think. I don't know. Maybe this could be a trap, maybe I wasn't going to make it to another year, or another day for that matter. And he was really reasonable. It was kind of like more than normal reasonable, like not what you would think of a very serious man who deals in violence would be. But I guess maybe because I apologized and I was cool and he's used to dealing with a bunch of scumbags and I proved that I wasn't a scumbag because, I was able to, show a little humility and apologize and be a gentleman. And that's how it should be in life. He says, look, buddy, I'm not trying to tell you your business, how to roll about whatever you're doing in your life with your writing. But people don't they don't consume material anymore. You gotta think of a different way to tell stories. You can't, yeah, maybe someone's not gonna pick up the book. Maybe someone's not gonna pick up your short story or whatever, but maybe you gotta think in a different way. People that consume media, online. Maybe you gotta think about I don't know, different ways of doing your thing. Do your thing, but do it in a different way. Okay, that's what I was trying to tell you before you went fucking batshit crazy on me. Now, this gentleman was a genius because right at that moment, and this is right before COVID too, I remember this distinctly. Right at that moment, I'm like, all right, people love stories, but they don't consume them in the same way anymore. Okay. Back, yeah, before computers, before internet, before all this other shit, people read, sure, by candlelight. They're like, you got Jebediah out there, like reading his little like book in the middle of the night kind of shit with his sister wife or whatever. No, I mean, but the guy, the mafia enforcer was right. Put something in my brain to say, hey, you could still be the writer. You could still do what Hemingway did over here. You could still do those same kind of stories. You can still get whatever's on your mind off your chest. Just do it in a more creative way. And who knew? And then I start this channel, Killed Cat Radio. Then I start doing audiobooks of my own writing. I start interviewing other people. I start thinking about doing graphic novels of some of my work. I start thinking in different ways because he was right. The mafia enforcer, the guy who breaks legs, was right. That's what you do. That's how you survive. Change or die. And that's part one. Okay, number two. Ready? Sorry, I just flicked you off. If you're watching England, I apologize because this means fuck you in England. Sorry about that. Okay, part two. We're going to call this one Getting the Girl. I try to help young men all the time. I mean, I was a young man as well. I mean, we all love women. We want to get attention from the ladies. We want to be attractive to the ladies. And when you're a young guy, you have no clue. And I have no idea what's going on with you youngsters out there because from what I see, it is a scary time out there to be a heterosexual young male. I mean, it's pretty simple, okay? People just want to have sex. It's not weird. It's not strange. Regular people just want to have sex with regular people. Now, you can do it in terms of relationship. If you want to play the one night stand game, you can. I never really liked those games, but that's just me. But I do know one thing, and this is true dating advice from me, 46-year-old male who certainly have had my share of experiences with the fair sex. Don't try. Don't try. It's you're walking into a bear trap. You're an idiot. If you try, if people can smell inauthenticity, and the more authentic you are, and just the more real you are, who you are as a person, yeah, not everyone's going to like you. You're not going to be Mr. Charming to everybody. But if you be yourself, okay. What did Oscar Wilde say? Be yourself. Everyone else is taken. Well, if we have to learn from a 19th century gay man about dating advice, hey, let's do it. Be yourself. Don't try to be anybody else. Which brings me to getting the girl. Guy walks into a bar. There you go. Stupid joke. I know my jokes are dumb. Okay. I walk into the bar. Depressed again. Funny how depression and dive bars go hand in hand with each other. Anyways, whatever. I'm not judging it. I worked in them for years, 20 years. So fuck it. I walk into the bar. I'm depressed. I think I'm working on stories again. There's a pattern here. Okay, I roll in. I'm not feeling very good. Not feeling very happy. I, again, don't have any money. There's a pattern going on here. But I wasn't even thinking about anything. Bartender at this bar, this particular dive bar, was hosting some open mic in the back of the bar. I mean, this is a pretty shitty bar, and open mics are generally pretty shitty. Sometimes they're actually really good if you get like really good players. And I do music on the side. I got a little talent there. Anyways, the bartender's like, yo, Maddie, you should go up there and play a song. And I'm like, fuck that shit. And I was like, really, in the grip, as they say. Anyway, there's me in my cups. I'm like, fuck it, whatever. I don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? I'm trying to work on these goddamn short stories. These stories don't write themselves. I'm being like this whole drunken guy. I don't know. So anyways, I go to the bathroom. Like I'm walking to the back of the bar. I go back to the bathroom and I have to walk past where the host of the open mic also knows who I am. You don't want to be too known in the bars like I was. Anyway, I'm walking to the bathroom, right? I got to take a piss. And the host is like, no one's coming up, right? I can see that like no one's playing anything and he's tired of playing his own shitty song. So he's like, hey, Matty D, you want to play one of your tunes? I got intoxicated enough to where I lost my own ego in the sense of self. I lost all care and concern for what people thought about who I was and if I had any talent or whatever. Basically, I lost my insecurities. Sometimes Dutch courage will do that to you. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, okay, here you go, Matty D. And he hands me a guitar. Oh, man. And he's like, let's hear it from Matty D. Kind of like railroads me into like playing a song, even though this guy's never heard my music at all. And I really haven't played a lot of these new tunes in front of people. Again, bar fate. Okay. So I don't even remember if I sang good or not, or if I played properly or not, but I played one of my songs and I gave it my all. I think there was something just so not desperate. I don't want to say desperate. That's like a bad word. I was so empty. Not desperate. Desperate means you want something. I didn't want anything from anybody. And I certainly even wanted to be breathing probably at that point. So I guess I was just empty of fuel and I just played my heart out. Much to my surprise, the song's over. I'm like, all right, whatever. And I just kind of like give it up, just give him the guitar. The place erupts in applause. I don't know what happened. I don't know these people. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what happened. There was no plan. Anything. I don't know. I don't know what happened that night. Okay. It was a random night. It was Brooklyn. It was at a dive bar. Some guy hands me a guitar. I play. I don't even know if I played it well or whatever. I go back to my seat, pick up the pen, start working on the short stories, and this beautiful woman just rolls up to me and she's like, oh, that was a great song. Now, I have no idea who this lady is, where she came out of, what ethereal universe that she just gives me that look. I don't know what it is. It's like this kind of bizarre. You guys know what I'm talking about. People know what this look is. It's a look of like a lion in the jungle is about to pounce on you. And you know what, folks? For you youngsters out there, she pounced on me. Now, when you're sitting in a bar stool, it's pretty much there's no like armchair things here. She literally jumps up on me, flips her leg over me, so she's straddling me on the fucking bar stool. Think about this. Boom, we start making out like nobody's business. It's unbelievable, and I'm not used to this kind of behavior. I mean, does this happen to normal rock and roll people? I guess that's why Mick Jagger's Mick Jagger, and I have no idea what's going on. She was very attractive, very nice lady. She seemed very friendly that evening. She just but I've never seen that move before where she flips her leg over me, sort of jumps up on me. I mean, like right here, straddles me in front of God and everybody. I couldn't believe it. And we're making out, whatever. Long story short, me and this lady, okay, continue this sort of bizarre, sexual, interesting affair. We end up going to Paris together. She meets me over in Paris. She's some rich lawyer lady, I guess bored in her life, I suppose. We meet down in New Orleans. Nice time there. But she had money. She had all this kind of stuff. I'm thinking, oh my God, this is like crazy. This is out of the blue. I don't even know who this lady is. Beautiful, by the way. Fellas, ladies, let me just tell you, she was perfect. She was 40 and she did not look 40. Sometimes people just, I don't know, you know how it goes. You know what I'm saying. Like sometimes you don't look your age. I mean, I hope I don't look my age. I'm 46. I hope I look cool. But anyway, this lady, beautiful. P.S. Postscript. Turned out she had a fella. All right, this is how the whole love affair ended. I didn't know that she was living with some dude in Jersey, of all places. So I'm like, dude, are you going to get me killed? You're cheating on your man, going to different cities and countries with me to have illicit affairs in all manner of interesting ways. This guy's going to murder me. And you know what she said to me? She's like, he ain't going to murder you, Maddie. Okay? He spends all his time playing video games. I'm not saying anything's wrong with video games, but I'm just saying that if you're playing video games and you're not taking care of this beautiful, rich lawyer lady and you're not like, doing what needs to be done, she's gonna cheat on you, pal. So getting the girl, what is the point of this story? The point is that I didn't try, I didn't care, and it came to me. So all you would-be little seducers out there and you think you're being slick, fuck all that. You don't need to be slick. Be yourself. Everyone else is taken. That night, I happened to be myself. Yes, was it a depressed writer, unsuccessful, no money, musician guy, playing an open mic, have some girl roll her leg over me, and we continue a 6-month bizarre international love affair, totally by accident? That happened. But that's point 2. Don't try. Same thing Bukowski said. Be yourself, okay? Be yourself. Everybody else is taken. You're going to be just fine out there, okay, guys? But yeah, how's that for a bar story? Very wild. Point 3, also interestingly enough, involves a bar stool. This may not be the best story in the world, but it certainly is interesting because look, let me just be frank with you guys. I am not like some pugilist out there, okay? I do have some scars. I mean, if you watched my videos, like, you know that, like, I've been in some skirmishes here or there. But, you know, I'm not like Mr. Tough Guy. I don't roll around like being macho, like, I'm gonna kill you, or, you know, let's get into a bar fight. I mean, I know I was a bartender for so long that I've seen tons of guys like that, and they're all a bunch of P words, if you know what I mean. I mean, pussy. I mean, they're a bunch of pussies. Anybody who has to act like really tough all the time is hiding some deep insecurity that they don't want to deal with. Now, this story takes place at a bar I was actually working at, but also drinking at as well. But I'm off shift, you know, like I'm feeling all right. You know, I mean, again, a little bit depressed. That's why I don't go to bars anymore. I mean, I'll go to a restaurant or a bistro, but I'm not going to hang out at a place where the specific interest is primarily in getting hammered behind a bar. You know, I spent too many years there. I know too much about that world. I know it inside and out, from the ground floor to the scuzzy ceiling. I know both sides of this equation. Almost ruined my life in those places. Anyways, so I'm sitting there off shift. One of these macho guys. I mean, he wasn't a macho guy, but he was definitely like, you know, he was kind of always like showboating and kind of being arrogant. He thought he could say anything to anybody, anytime. And his logic was, well, what the fuck are they going to do about it? Because if they did have a problem with it, I'll just fucking handle it the way, you know, men handle things. Point is, I'm sitting there staring into my drink, and he's like, looks over at me. He kind of knew me because he was one of my customers, to be honest with you. And he looks at me, he's like, oh, Maddie, what's wrong? And I'm like, well, I'm not in a really good mood right now. And I wasn't. Again, another problem, another depression, another woman, heartbreak, alcohol, whiskey. Whiskey's bad, kids. I'm just staring at my drink. I'm just kind of like, you know what I mean? I'm very like, and I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm just kind of, my eyes are down. I'm just, you know, like, you know, taking my drink, doing my thing. But this guy's like right here, and he's kind of goading me a little bit. You could tell he's trying to rile me up for some reason. He's like, oh, what's wrong? Having some trouble, are you? And I'm like, no, Mike, I'm not having any trouble today. I'm just drinking. Kind of don't want to talk about it right now. No, Maddie, like, what's going on? You know, hey, what's happening? You know, like, he was just being so fucking flippant and just annoying. And I don't know, it was just really that kind of thing. So it's like a demon right here, just like next to you, just going like, rah, 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 you know, just fucking with you. I don't know. Maybe he wanted trouble with me. I mean, he never really started any trouble before, but now there was trouble now. Blah, 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 blah. You know, oh, you got girl problems. Oh, would you contract some disease? I mean, it was just bringing up some weird shit. You know, it was very rude. Whatever he was doing, I really fucking did not like. Now, I brought up the bar stool before. Bar stool, you can have the two different kind of bar stools. You can have the circular bar stools, right? That kind of like spin, you know? You can go back and forth on them. Or you can have the bar chair where there's no like side parts of it, but it's still like a chair, and it's a wooden chair. You know what I mean? It's got a back to it, kind of like here, but it's there and it's wooden, okay? Because it was one of those old school kind of bars. I don't know where I learned this move, this technique. I probably saw it in a movie somewhere. He's rambling, and I just say, buddy, just leave me the F alone. I'm over it. I don't want to deal with anything. I'm not even trying to start trouble with him, even though I could feel him like almost like getting excited as well. So what do? I do the wrong thing. I look at the bartender, and keep in mind, I work at this establishment, by the way. I go, bartender. You know, he comes over, he's like, what's up, Betty? I'm like, can I get a double whiskey, like a big one? And he's like, sure about that? I'm like, I'm sure about that. Brings it over. I take it. The guy's still rambling on in my ear, blah, 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 you know, doing his thing. I take it, and this is how I know that, like, shit's about to go down. So if you guys ever see me at a bar, if you ever happen to run into me somewhere, and I just fucking pound like a giant, thick thing of whiskey, something bad's about to happen in like 5 seconds. Okay. Boom. Put it down. I look over, and I think like I do still play by a fair game. So I try to give anybody who I'm about to like do something to a warning. At least, you know, just be like, I don't want to do this. You don't want me to do this. He doesn't know what's about to happen. He's already 3 sheets himself. So whatever. I take it down. Oh, it hurts. But I'm so fueled by like a different kind of anger that like it doesn't even affect me really. So I just I'm feeling it course through me, like the liquid courage is coursing through me. The demon is arising, and I pull a move. I don't know where I found this move. I put my booted foot behind the chair of the bar stool, right? So now I've got leverage behind the bar stool at the base, at the leg of the bar stool there. He doesn't see this happening, but I do that. right? Now I've got leverage. Out of nowhere, I take my left arm, just like this, and literally with full strength, slide over, nailing him center in the chest with my extended arm. The whole bar stool goes like just falls right over to the ground. Just slam. He's on his back now. Doesn't know what the fuck's going on. The glass he's drinking out of just spills everywhere, and I pounce on him and I'm about to fucking smash this dude's face. Got me crazy. And I never get that way, but I just slammed him down. He goes down. I jump up and I'm like, you better shut the fuck up, motherfucker. I was not feeling this. Now, here's a little information here. It was like 4:30 in the afternoon. The bartender was actually my boss. Yes, of the place I worked at. Oh man, only in Brooklyn, right? He immediately just was like, Manny, what are you doing? Now, and I'm like, oh shit. Now, the look in this guy's eyes was pure fear. I mean, wouldn't you be scared if someone pulled this move on you? I mean, I would be freaking out if someone pulled a move like that on me. But he was goading me. I mean, he deserved it, right? I do not advocate violence ever, kids. But fuck this motherfucker. That's what I was thinking. Plus the whiskey, again, reason versus excuse. Slam. He's down. He's freaked out. Like you could see in his eyes, true fear. Like this guy's not macho anymore. And I was like, I was ready to go. Anyways, then all my senses come back to me. My boss is like, get out of here, Betty. So I got kicked out of my own bar for attacking a customer at my own bar. Yeah, kind of weird. Kind of a wild story. Kind of a wild life. I don't live that life anymore. I don't do that anymore. No, I want a nice, happy life. I want beautiful things in my life. I want to see the blue skies and I want to see the pigeons flying around the sun and I want to learn the mysteries of the sea and I want to hear the waves crashing on the beach, I don't want to be sitting around listening to some punk bitch talk smack to me about women and how lonely I am and how desperate I am. I don't need anyone to tell me what's going on, which happened with the mafioso, which kind of sort of happened with the girl who straddled me on the bar stool, which of course leads us. I didn't realize there would be 3 bar stool stories here. That's what I really should call this podcast, the bar stool stories. All right, I'll rename it. All right, whatever. These are true facts. This is what happened. Those are some bar stool stories, which leads us to the next portion of the show. Of Sharp Teeth, the creep of the week. Folks, I'm winging this. This week, the creep of the week is me. I take full responsibility for this. When I say the creep of the week is me, is because these are not tales to be repeated. These are not stories that you should emulate. You should not try to be the drunk guy at the bar. I know a lot of you guys and ladies out there want to be cool. I know a lot of you guys and ladies out there want to experience like the gritty lifestyle of the underbelly of New York City or Brooklyn life. And now you can like sit around on a podcast and tell stories about it and blah, 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 blah. No, it's not cool. All right. I'm the creep of the week for even sharing these things with you guys. I'm the creep of the week because I was stupid enough to believe that living in bars for 20 years was a healthy decision. You have one life to live in this life. You can't be spending it in bars for your whole life. So the creep of the week is me. I spent some time in those places, on those bar stools. Yeah, sure. Great stories, but I got no money, no insurance, no life, no anything. No kids, nothing. So yeah, the creep of the week is me. I'm sorry. The creep of the week doesn't have to be a person, place, or thing, but this time I got to lay the blame on myself. Now, do I have any regrets? No. I lived my life. That was the one thing I did. I did it well. I did that version of life very, very, very well. So if I had to get graded by a teacher of the bar room, the dive bar circuit in Brooklyn, yeah, I get an A+. Flying colors. My grade point average is amazing. But the creep of the week is me because even saying these stories, I can even hear in some people's minds, yeah, that's fucking badass, dude. I love these stories. Dude, this guy's like talking shit to mafiosos. This guy's getting laid by crazy ladies from playing songs. This dude's, pulling a little fucking jack move on a dude who's talking shit to him and condescending to him and show him like who's what. Yeah, it sounds good on paper or on a podcast. Is it good in real life? It remains to be seen. I can't really say yes or no or good or bad or what have you. That's up to you guys. You guys judge it, which brings us to the talkback section. Talkback is when you talk to me, so you can go ahead and comment below and just say what maybe you have a bar story. You got any cool stories? Just write something there. Just do it. I'd love to hear what you got to say. I mean, it was great because last time we were talking about the movies that made me, and a couple people wrote to me about the movies they love. Thank you very much. But, maybe you got bar stories. Well, I've got 1 billion of them. So, this doesn't just end here. This is episode 32. Think about that. This is the first episode of 2024. And we all know this year's going to get really weird. I'm going to need everybody to kind of hold it together. All right. Be strong, be safe. Don't get in bar fights. Like us at Kill the Cat Radio on all the social media platforms. We are there. Subscribe, please, if you like what you hear down below. Hit that button. Pretty fucking easy, man. Don't make me have to have a bar fight with you. Just kidding. No more whiskey in 2024. I actually already quit it long ago, so I don't get that way anymore. They don't call it spirits for nothing. This is Kill the Cat Radio Sharp Teeth. I am Matthew Diabate. Thank you very much for joining us this week, and I will talk to you next time.